Hello, I'm Simon Whistler, you're watching the Today I Found Our YouTube channel, and in the video today we're looking at why hair will only grow to a certain length. Hair length is completely controlled by the length of your anagen phase of your hair follicle. How long this phase lasts is determined mostly by genetics, but it can also be affected by hormones and extreme stress. But in the end, there is a chemical signal that ultimately controls the exact growth cycle. Following the anagen phase is the catagen phase. It isn't yet known what triggers the catagen phase, but once it is triggered, the outer part of the root is cut off from its nutrient supply, the blood, as well as the cells that produce new hair. Thus, your hair stops growing. This phase lasts about 3 weeks. Next up comes the telogen phase, where the follicle is in a resting state and your hair is now a club hair, completely dead down to the root. During this stage, these hairs are relatively easy to pull out, as can happen while brushing, combing, or washing your hair. But if they manage to last long enough, they'll eventually be pushed out by a new hair as the cycle begins again. Obviously, hairs on your arms or legs have a very different anagen period than hairs on your head, thus why your leg hair doesn't grow to 2 feet long without trimming. Further, different people, thanks mostly to their genetics, have differing lengths of the anagen period for a given body part compared to other people. For the hair on your head, the average length of the anagen phase is about 2 to 7 years. For your arms, legs, eyebrows, etc., this phase usually only lasts about 30 to 45 days. However, in extreme cases, which are quite rare, some people have anagen periods for their heads as short as most people's anagen phases for their arms and legs. For these people, their hair naturally never grows more than a few inches long. The opposite is also true for people whose anagen phase can last decades for their scalp hair. At any given time, about 85 to 90% of your hair is in the anagen phase. 1 to 2% is in the catagen phase, and 10 to 14% is in the telogen phase. However, extreme stress can trigger the anagen phase to stop prematurely, and hair can rapidly progress to the telogen phase, even as much as 70% of the hair on your body. When this happens, the majority of your hair that should still be growing can fall out all at once. Under normal circumstances, though, you can get a rough estimate of how long your anagen phase is based on how long your hair grows naturally without cutting off a given area. First, assuming your hair isn't already as long as it can get, measure your hair length. Then, exactly a month later, measure it again and note the difference. Now you have your growth rate, which is usually about 1 centimeter every 28 days or 1 inch every 71 days. So, if without cutting, the hair on your head eventually grows to 16 inches long max, then your anagen phase lasts, well, it's the inches multiplied by the period per inch. So using the average of 1 inch every 71 days, we take 16 inches, multiply it by 71 days an inch, and that gives us approximately 1,136 days, or 3.11 years. As to why, when you cut hair, it will always grow back to its maximum length, this is just because when the cycle restarts, new hair comes in that can grow to the maximum length, eventually replacing the old hair that will be shorter than it could have been because you cut it. As you might have guessed from the fact that hair growth is completely controlled by what's going on under the surface within your hair follicles, and that genetics and hormones are the primary things determining hair growth length, which are in no way affected by shaving, shaving does not in any way affect your hair growth rate, nor does it alter the color of the hair, contrary to popular belief. So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do hit that like button below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We put out brand new videos just like this every day of the week. Also, over there on the right, a couple of other videos that you might enjoy if you enjoyed this one, and thank you for watching.